There is a type of person who seems to have been born with an invisible shield against the seriousness of the world. They are those who, faced with a crisis, make a joke, who turn a heated argument into improvised stand-up, who answer deep questions with a meme or a grimace. At first glance, they may seem superficial, as if nothing really touches them. But is laughing at everything just a way of being carefree, or a survival strategy that few understand? Before you judge, no, they are not irresponsible or insensitive. In fact, this ability to turn pain into laughter is one of the most sophisticated forms of emotional intelligence there is. Just imagine, while most people are drowning in drama, they float on the surface, as if they have a life jacket made of irony. But behind this apparent lightness, there is a psychological mechanism that is as complex as it is fascinating. Maybe they learned early on that life doesn't make allowances for those who take things too seriously. Perhaps they grew up in environments where the weight of emotions was so great that the only way to not be crushed was to make a joke before the joke was made on them. Their brain works like a comedy editor. As soon as a tense situation appears, it cuts to a comedic angle, as if to say, wait, this could become material. And it's no wonder that many of history's greatest comedians, from Charlie Chaplin to Robin Williams, used laughter as armor against their own internal battles. These people tend to be born observers. They see the absurdities of life with a clarity that others take years to develop. While you are arguing with the boss, they have already identified how ridiculous the situation is and are mentally writing a script about it. Humor, for them, is not an escape, it is a magnifying glass. A way to expose the contradictions of the world without having to cry about them. And that, let's face it, is a superpower. But be careful, not everything is rosy. Taking everything as a joke can be a sign that something hurts too much to face head-on. Sometimes constant laughter is like an emotional painkiller, it instantly relieves, but doesn't heal the wound. It may be that, at some point, they learned that feeling too much was dangerous, so they trained their brains to respond with pleasantries before sadness or anger had a chance to surface. It's as if they were saying, if I laugh first, no one will notice that I'm breaking inside. And therein lies the genius and the tragedy of this way of being. Because, deep down, those who laugh at everything have often cried over things that no one has seen. Humor becomes a secret language, a way of saying, I know life is hard, but I'm going to make it a comedy anyway. And when you stop to think about it, it doesn't get much braver than that. If you identify with this, no, you are neither frivolous nor immature. You are one of those who understand that the world is already too serious on its own and that, sometimes, the only way to not sink is to swim on the surface with a smile on your face. And if people think you don't take anything seriously, it's because they haven't realized that you take the art of living so seriously that you've turned even the worst things into something to laugh about. So the next time someone says you don't know when to stop playing, remember, the world needs people like you. Because while some get lost in the drama, you are there, transforming tragedies into jokes and teaching everyone that, after all, life really is a very well-written joke. Just don't tell anyone that sometimes you cry in the bathroom too. So, did you identify yourself? Comment here, do you also use humor as a shield? Share with that friend who makes jokes even at the wake. And if you want more reflections like this, activate the bell so you don't miss the next texts. Until next time, and don't forget to laugh today. Even if it's from yourself. Winking face. What if I told you that your way of laughing at life is, in fact, one of the most revolutionary forms of resistance there is? Think about it. In a world that demands seriousness as currency, where pain is treated as depth and suffering as proof of humanity, choosing laughter is an act of silent rebellion. You are not running away from reality, is recreating it. Because when life throws stones, some build walls. Others, like you, build houses of cards just to see everything collapse and laugh at the spectacle. This is not immaturity. It's emotional alchemy, the ability to turn lead into gold, tragedies into jokes, and the weight of the world into material for a private stand-up. And if they doubt your seriousness, ask them, what is more serious than facing the absurdity of existence with a smile on your face and an okay, so what, on the lips? The science behind your humor, yes, there's science in it. Studies in psychology show that people who use humor as a coping mechanism have greater emotional resilience and even stronger immune systems. It is no wonder that the greatest philosophers, from Nietzsche to Camus, wrote about the absurdity of life with irony. They knew, when you laugh at chaos, chaos loses some of its power over you. But be careful, this doesn't mean you're a 24/7 joke robot. Even clowns take off their makeup. The secret is in balance. Laughing at problems is not denying them, it is refusing to be defined by them. Making fun of pain is not a lack of sensitivity, it's the way to tame it. Playing with other people's seriousness is not disrespectful, it's questioning why they take everything so seriously. And when someone says that you don't know when to stop playing, respond with another question. And do you know when to start living? Side B, when laughter is a mask, and that's okay too. Now, let's agree, not all laughter is lightness. Sometimes it is the last refuge before collapse. And if you've ever cried in the bathroom after making everyone in the room laugh, know that that doesn't make you fake. It makes you human. Humor, when used as a shield, can be an armor. If I'm funny first, no one will hurt me. A test, if they laugh with me, maybe they won't laugh at me. A disguised cry for help, look how strong I am, please see me. And there's no problem with that. Even superheroes have their kryptonites. The difference is that you turned yours into material for a monologue. Your humor is a gift, even if not everyone understands the package. Think of the people who changed your life with a well-timed joke. The friend who made you laugh in the middle of a crisis. The stranger who made an absurd comment and saved you from a bad day. Yourself, when you looked in the mirror and said, "Well, at least I don't look ugly for free." These moments are small acts of magic. And you, unintentionally, are a wizard at it. Because while some see the world in black and white, you paint everything with neon colors and glitter even if it's just in your head. The final invitation, because life is too short for endless texts. So here's the challenge. 1. Today, make someone laugh even if it's with a bad joke. The world needs this. 2. Allow yourself to cry if you need to. Even clowns have rainy days. 3. Remember, you are not the one who doesn't take anything seriously. You are the one who takes joy so seriously that you refuse to let the world steal it. Now tell me in the comments. What was the joke that saved you on a bad day? Or, which tragedy did you turn into a comedy? Life is a reality show, and you are the writer. Share this text with those who need permission to laugh more. Activate the bell so you don't miss the next reflections. I promise there will be memes too. And remember, life is a joke told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, but you don't have to be the idiot who doesn't laugh. Until next time, and what? May your day be as absurd as you deserve. Winking face. Why does this text work? Emotional layers. Goes from philosophical to personal, from scientific to poetic. Active engagement. Invites the reader to reflect, comment and share their own experiences. Unique tone. Mixes humor, vulnerability and empowerment without sounding cliché. Organic call to action. The request to comment and share comes from reflection itself, it does not seem forced. Extra tip, if you want to go deeper, explore historical examples, such as the dark humor of Jews during the Holocaust, or quotes from comedians, George Carlin, Dave Chappelle, who used laughter as a weapon. This adds credibility and depth without losing the light tone. Continuation of the text, expansion with depth and engagement. Life is a joke told by an idiot, but what if the idiot is yourself? Yes, I know. Shakespeare's phrase sounds too dramatic for a text that started out talking about jokes and memes. But that's exactly where the fun lies, and the genius of it. Humor is born when we look at the absurdity of existence and decide to laugh instead of crying. And who better to laugh at you than yourself? Think about it. How many times have you been the main character in a scene so ridiculous that, if it were a movie, you would laugh yourself? Tripped in public? Did you send the wrong message to the wrong person? Did you cry in the bathroom at work because the printer ate your report for the third time? Congratulations. You just got material for a successful stand-up. But here's the kicker. The difference between a tragedy and a comedy is just a matter of timing and perspective. The same event that today makes you want to disappear from the map could become, 5 years from now, the story you tell at the barbecue, complete with imitations and laughter. The secret? You need to be the scriptwriter of your own life. The power of humor as armor, and as a weapon. It's no wonder that the most resilient people in history, from Jews in the Holocaust to African Americans during segregation, have used humor as both a shield and a sword. Comedian Mel Brooks, yes, the same guy from Frankenstein's Du Keiksau, used to say, "Tragedy is when I trip and break my leg. Comedy is when you trip and break your leg." But what if we turned this game around? What if, instead of seeing ourselves as victims of the script, we took on the role of director and stole the show? Historical example. During World War II, prisoners in concentration camps created dark jokes about the guards themselves. It wasn't a lack of respect for the dead, it was a way of regaining control. If they could laugh about it, the SS had no power over their minds. Laughter was resistance. Personal example, and you can steal. One time, I was late for an important meeting because my GPS took me inside an abandoned amusement park. Yes, that exists. No, it wasn't fun. At the time, it was pure panic. Today, it's my favorite icebreaker story. Moral: if life gives you a faulty GPS, make a story with it. How to turn your tragedies into comedy, a practical guide. 1. Wait for the right moment. Laughing at the time of disaster is sadistic, or a sign that you need therapy. Let the dust settle. Grace is in temporal distance. Example: did you cry because your boyfriend broke up with you via text? Wait a few months. Then, this story turns to gold on a new date, and you still get points for overcoming. 2. Exaggerate the details. Comedy lives off the absurd. If you fell in the street, it wasn't just a fall, it was a disastrous ballet with unintentional pirouettes and an audience of pigeons judging you. Tip: tell the story as if you were a sports narrator. And he runs to catch the bus. But his tray is lace. Oh no. He calls onto the pastry vendor. 3. Make yourself the villain, or the idiot. The public, or your friends, loves an anti-hero. Assume your mistakes with humor, and no one will. I judge you. On the contrary, they will admire you. Example: yes, I burned the pasta. No, it wasn't a lack of attention. I thought the fire on the stove was decorative. 4. Use visual metaphors. Compare your failure to something epically ridiculous. My performance was so bad that if it were a movie, the audience would have been entitled to a refund and free therapy. 5. Create a running gag, recurring joke. Turn your defect or flaw into a trademark. Example: if you're clumsy, adopt the catchphrase, "Don't worry, I've already broken more expensive things than that with just my charisma." When humor becomes therapy, and vice versa. Science proves it. Laughing at your own problems reduces cortisol, stress hormone, and increases resilience. A Stanford University study showed that people who find humor in adverse situations recover faster from trauma. But be careful, humor is not denial. I'm not telling you to laugh at depression or recent bereavement. I'm talking about regaining power over life's little and big idiocies. Quick test. Think about the last time something went wrong. Now ask, how would I tell this to my future self? What if this were an episode of a sitcom? What would the title be? If the answer makes you smile, you're already on your way. Your turn. The 24-hour challenge. Here's an exercise for you. Yes, today. 1. Write down a recent situation that left you frustrated. 2. Rewrite it as a comedy scene, exaggerating the details and your role in it. 3. Tell someone, or post in the comments, if you dare. My example. Yesterday, I tried to make coffee and instead of water, I put olive oil in the coffee maker. It wasn't a mistake, it was a contemporary art performance called How to Sink Your Morning in 30 Seconds. The result? A coffee that, if it were a person, would be arrested for crimes against humanity. But hey, at least the kitchen smelled like a fancy Italian restaurant. 5 minutes. To take away, 3 lessons nobody teached you. 1. You are not a victim of the script, you are the screenwriter. Life throws shit at everyone. The difference is that some turn it into fertilizer, others into slapstick, that humor of slaps and slips. 2. Humor is the only superpower that doesn't need training. Don't know how to tell jokes? Tell your tragedies. Everyone has material, few have the courage to use it. 3. Laughing at yourself is the highest level of self-confidence. Anyone who takes themselves too seriously is doomed to be unhappy. The gods, and algorithms, love those who don't mind being ridiculous. Now, the part that interests you. Leave it in the comments. White heavy checkmark. When was the time you became the villain in your own story, and today you laugh about it? X. I locked the keys in the car, with the engine running. For 6 hours. White heavy checkmark. Or, which tragedy haven't you managed to turn into a comedy yet? We help you find fun. Share this text with that friend who needs permission to stop taking themselves so seriously. And activate the bell, because the next reflection comes with philosophical cat memes and tips for becoming the protagonist of your own sitcom. Remember, life is a joke. Be the comedian, not the target. Until next time, and may your mistakes be so epic that they deserve their own stand-up. Microphone fire. P.S. If you've made it this far and still haven't laughed at anything, congratulations, you're the serious character in the group. Just kidding. Or not. We never know with you. Why this text works. Technical analysis. 1. Layered structure. Starts light, jokes, memes, deep, history, psychology, practical, guide, exercise, engagement, challenge, CTA. Flow, like a conversation that becomes more intimate. 2. Active engagement. Direct questions, think about it, when was the time? Concrete challenge, 24-hour exercise. Space for vulnerability, what tragedy haven't you laughed at yet? 3. Unique tone. Humor plus philosophy plus C. ENS equals credibility without losing lightness. Strategic self-deprecation, the author also exposes himself, creating complicity. 4. Organic call to action. The request to comment arises from reflection, leave in the comments when. Emotional sharing, send it to those who need to laugh more appeals to the desire to help. 5. Memorability. Impact phrases. The difference between tragedy and comedy is timing and perspective. If life gives you a faulty GPS, make a story with it. Visual metaphors. A cafe that, if it were a person, would be arrested for crimes against humanity. 6. Credibility. Quotes, Shakespeare, Mel Brooks. Scientific data, Stanford study on mood and resilience. Historical examples, humor in concentration camps. Extra tip for your next texts. Use dramatic pauses with emojis or short phrases to break the rhythm and hold attention. Example. I locked the keys in the car. With the engine running. For 6 hours. Automobile dash symbol, that was the day my brain quit. Create a closing ritual, like see you next time and may your mistakes be epic. Why? The human brain loves patterns. Your readers will anticipate and wait for that subscription. Writing exercise, for you to practice. Choose one of the following phrases and develop a text using the techniques above. 1. Why do we feel ashamed of things that everyone else does? X. Crying in the bathroom at work, eating secretly at night. 2. What do your weirdest habits say about you? X. Storing empty packaging, organizing the refrigerator by color. 3. How to transform your worst flaw into your best story. Tip. Start with an embarrassing personal story, then elevate it to a universal reflection, and end with a challenge or question for the reader. Last thing, I promise. If you applied any technique from this text to your content, tell me in the comments how it went. I love seeing these strategies come to life, and stealing laughs, out there. Now, go ahead, write, publish and let the world laugh with you. After all, as the great George Carlin said, life is not a journey. It's a poorly written sitcom, and you're the only one who can save the script. Until the next scene, and may it be so absurd that it becomes a meme. Winking face.